more fundamental stuff, yeah, let's do that. Let's do it this way. We can maybe start with that replay you send me. Yeah, is there a better one, or this one you send me is okay?
I think that one's the one that we'll go over.
Yeah?
Yeah, all the codes got nuked on Tuesday because I didn't know there was a balance patch coming out.
Oh yeah, the usual. We're about to have a session and then there's a patch right before. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we are on Kixo here. Can you guys see the stream? Does it work?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm thinking, let's just start with the planning basics, and then yeah, whatever the questions you guys gonna have later, let me know. I also record everything, and there's gonna be the summary. I'm gonna send it to you guys. So yeah, let's take a look and see. I think just starting with your composition, just let me guys know what's the idea of what you're trying to do in here, generally speaking. What's your game plan once you're starting with on this map? What do you guys think in this case?
I'm leaving that to y'all. I wasn't here.
There really wasn't one. It was just hold it back. That's all it really
Yeah.
talked about.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. Let's maybe start with just understanding that I think the first layer of the planning is always about composition. And composition gives you a direction of how you should be playing. So when we're looking at this composition, your composition, what you would say the big resources you should be playing around? Let's start there. What are your thoughts?
Was that hotel? Hotel and tower. I couldn't. I wanted to go up height, but there was a widow.
Yeah. I guess I'm also more interested in your team's cooldowns. Let's put it this way. Yeah, by looking at this entire team. Yeah, well, the map specifics are also important. That's fine. This is also a resource. I also refer to it this way. But what do you would say about the cooldowns on your team as well? What do you guys think in this case?
Oh god. Okay. Input.
That's okay.
Are you asking like how we could use our abilities like to our advantage, or sorry, what's the exact question here?
Yeah, so the fight and your composition, just whatever you guys are playing, the direction of it usually depends on first ultimates, but now because you don't have ultimates, it can be based on simply abilities. Yeah, simply your cooldowns. So let's figure out what do you guys think are the two biggest cooldowns, or maybe at least 2-3. Yeah, just let's do 2-3 cooldowns you need to synchronize your pressure with. Ideally, what are the strongest ones? What do you guys feel like?
Wall and Sigma Shield, I guess.
And then more.
Yeah, and more.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry I'm so late.
It's okay.
Yeah. So it's gonna be maybe immortality field partially, especially because it's a defensive cooldown, maybe your shield of the Sigma. But I feel like most importantly, when you're trying to come up with a plan, the first one you mentioned, your May wall, is even more important because it allows you to set this more of a proactive plan. Yeah, what are we gonna be doing with our offensive cooldown? So we will be forcing something from the enemy team. So now we have one May wall. Okay, can you name any other second best offensive cooldown? What do you guys think? What about the Sigma Rock? What about the Ash Dynamite?
Oh.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe this can also be.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example. So, see, now once you have resources, this makes it easy for you to understand where do you need to put your attention, what kind of space you need to fight for. So let's keep it simple. We have the Ash, we have the May. Maybe let's also add a rock here, Sigma Rock. So, in this case, we're trying to identify what space would be the most suitable so everyone, so it's gonna be Ash here, let's name it, say, A, angle, and May at a position B, and also Sigma at a position C, where you guys should be playing. So every cooldown gets value. Yeah, and this is where just more positional stuff. Yeah, you just need to also come up, okay, where we should be on the map and what space. So we're fighting for the right space. Let's put it this way. Yeah, so let's first of all identify what space is preferable for you guys. What do you think? If you know that the dynamite is in play, the Sigma Rock, the May Wall, what do you think? Where you guys will be fighting initially?
Oh god.
That's
Mainly
fine.
just
I mean,
that
you-
wall.
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't
go
mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're good. Go ahead.
I was
That's
just gonna say like that corner.
Yeah, exactly. You just always kind of try to break it down for yourself, right? Where my May Wall can get value, maybe where my Ash Dynamite can get value, at the same time, Sigma Rock. Yeah, so now, when we know that, let's say, the corners, yeah, there are multiple types of corners. You maybe can fight for this corner, you maybe can fight here, you can also fight there, and wall off this location. Okay, so once you have this plan, once you exactly know that the ability will be used in this area, so you guys can always maybe also communicate it before the fight starts. Let's look for the wall in this choke, or let's look for the wall near this statue, or let's wall near this here. Because there's no wrong plan in Overwatch, because there's so many things you can be doing. And it's fine as long as you're on the same page and as long as you know what kind of cooldowns you guys trying to synchronize with. Okay, let's try to we can try to improvise. Yeah, let's say this is plan A, where we could be finding the choke. This is plan B, where we're fighting the statue, and this is plan C, where we're also fighting the statue, but it's a little bit towards this down the towards the stairs. Let's put it this way. Yeah, the stairs are gonna be over here. So, what plan? Let's pick the plan and try to come up with positioning wherever we'll be. So, what are your thoughts, guys? Let's pick what plan you want to pick. Plan A, B, C. Again, there's no wrong answer. Let's just kind of think through after we pick the plan.
Probably A.
Yeah, I feel like we tend to do A a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do A. And in this case, if we're trying to play for this A plan, this is going to be Vol over here. Yeah, we just started with the May, yeah, the most basic cooldown, where everybody should be playing according to the plan. Now, where the May should be playing, where the Sigma should be playing, and where the Ash should be playing as well. What do you think? Let's just start with the May first. What are your thoughts?
I feel like May is kind of hidden off to the side, almost
Yeah.
like waiting to get that wall.
Maybe, yeah, this can work. Maybe you can also play
Like
near...
kind of where Groovy is right now.
Yeah, possibly. I feel like, why not? You can try this out. Again, all of it is just your quality of the angles. It will come through experimentation. But first of all, maybe let's start here. Let's say this is gonna be our May angle. Okay? Then where the Ash is gonna be in this case?
Probably should have been my statue.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe near the statue. What do you think about the high guns over here? Somewhere over
Usually
there?
I do go there, but they had a widow who was pocketed.
Mhm.
And I was a little
bit tough.
scared.
Yeah.
So that's yeah. So I kind of just played that corner so I could see down the alley at least.
Mm.
But I tend to go down, or not down, up in the high ground. Oh god, how do I explain?
You go up on the high grounds when you have the availability.
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Yeah.
I couldn't form a sentence.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, so just playing the angle. Obviously, we keeping in mind what they also gonna have, but position-wise, it's really important. You see, at least we have kind of two rivals which are a little bit distinct. Yeah, the Sigma is a little bit too far forward and playing for this plan A, and the May and the rest of you guys back here are playing for this plan B and C. And again, you can always be dynamic. Let's say they have a Widow, then maybe we can pick different plan. Yeah, let's play for the wall here. I think that make more sense because you don't want to pick the Widows. So in this case, your Ashe can be over here, maybe, or over there, and then the May can play this corner or this corner. You see, all of it is dynamic, but why it's so important is that you have to say where we'll be using our abilities. Just come up with 2 big cooldowns you guys want to pressure with, so this way it will be easier. And because see, this is big problem now, how our pressure is slightly distinct. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like I mentioned, Sigma been a little bit too far forward. The rest of you guys here, you trying to be aware of the Widow, so you play far back. So we need to adjust and just call it, okay, how we should be playing. So our resources will be prepared for this exact fight. Yeah, ideally, once you know that the plan is happening, let's maybe wall over here, or let's wall the choke over here. Ideally, everybody should have their cooldowns prepared. Most of your resources should be ready, and then we'll be fighting for this area. So we cannot afford this to be happening, yeah, where we kind of distinct with the space where we play. Yeah, so now we see the Sombra is going a little bit back, and because we're busy with Sombra hacked our May, then the Sigma, it gets pressured more, and what may happen is that, well, it's just gonna be difficult for you guys to hold space. And you see now, we're going for this wall here, and once we went for the wall, the Ashe peeked the Widow, but it's just slightly, because it's been maybe the pick right before the wall happened, then this is gonna end up pretty badly. Or maybe, let's say, we could also maybe, like we suggested, position in different way too, once we're aware of the Widow. You just keep it more shorter to mid-range sidelines. But yeah, stuff like that. The planning around the resources is really important. Okay, any questions about the resources and why it matters? We can also get us more examples. Let's just watch maybe multiple fights later, and let's come up with how we will position, and then we'll talk about the ultimates after. But yeah, any questions so far?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
It's not
I
from me.
don't have anything.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right. So it seems like you guys still managed, even though they getting those picks, we're still managing to stabilize, which is nice. But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tough. Just accordingly to, if the Widow is here, then probably our positioning should be adjusted. Like we said, let's play shorter, mid-range sidelines, and it's not only based on the Widow, it's mostly based on how we should be playing together as a team, yeah, how we can synchronize our pressure around something. Okay, so let's think about this choke here. Yeah, maybe now, well, the composition is the same. We don't have any ultimates coming up, but what do you think? What your plan can be looking like? Just how you would win this part of the space here. What are your thoughts? Starting with the resources, yeah, let's just think of what do we do with resources, and after that we'll come up with positioning. What are you going to be doing next? What are your thoughts?
I'd say use Maywall to block off the tunnel over there whenever they tried to push up, like that Ana and Ram, like
Mhm.
try and wall them off.
Yeah.
Probably use Shield to cancel out that Widow, maybe.
This is interesting. Yeah, the Widow is pretty oppressive, right? So need to deal with that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Is there anything else?
No, she actually
rock
took
at someone.
exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, okay, well, that's fine. Maybe also partially, it can be on rotation side, yeah, because you only have one, oh well, maybe two actually, more longer range members, like Ashe, Baptiste. Well, the Sigma can also be, it's also the poke tank, but if they have more poke power, maybe you can also rotate and try to avoid some of the poke. Maybe if you have sometime we can even try to rotate towards the high ground over here, but with your composition might be a little bit difficult, and I would say, yeah, you rather just try to shut this down either with a May wall or Sigma shield is gonna be okay. Yep. And once we start there, yeah, once we use some of this resource, we should be ready to peak. Yeah, it's just a really important part of the plan, so you guys not feeling scared as well. For example, okay, let's try to shield the Widow here, and the Widow is shielded, then what that means for you as the Ashe, or what that means for you as May, or even Baptiste. Yeah, that means we can peek more aggressively. Yeah, that means we can maybe shoot this Sumatra, shoot this Ana, but you can only be confident if you coming up with this plan. You're saying, okay, let's use the Suisos, and that's how we play around it. Yeah, let's, for example, look at this May wall. Yeah, let's think about it, how we can get maybe even bigger value. So this type of wall here. What do you think? Is there a better quality wall for us, or maybe this is still good enough? What are your thoughts?
I think if it was communicated, it would have been good, but from what I remember, I don't think anything was communicated and it just kind of happened.
Mhm.
So I don't think it was good in that aspect.
Yeah, it's just a little bit tough to get value based on everyone's position too, right? Ideally,
Yeah.
I think it's just you can make it easy if something big is getting used. I want you guys to get value out of it, and it doesn't matter offensive or defensive. Yeah, let's say maybe somebody's heavily pushed, then you put the wall. Sure, that is good, but I usually want to put emphasis on how you guys can do your own pressure too. And this wall is being put. Now we only see Sigma, who's picking the angle. This is not ideal. Yeah, I want Ashe to be peeking. I want somebody else to be peeking. And also considering the shield. Yeah, if you're scared about the Widow, maybe you also put it there. And all of it just comes down together once you practice more and more. I would say maybe your first games, just try to pick that one specific ability you play around. Yeah, let's say Maywall. Okay, perfect. Maybe it's also good if you run some more brawl-friendly composition. Let's say just more brawl-oriented when you run something like May too, so this way it may be easier. You can just run in on the angle together, you rush something, you maybe split somebody, yeah, just stuff like that. But it's a different story. Obviously, I highly suggest try to play your comfort picks. But anyway, that's something what I want to start with. Alright, any questions about this fight here?
Yeah, I have one.
I
Yeah.
don't have any.
What would you think of if Ashe at this point, instead of like peeking mid with say like Sig and May, what if the Ashe went and contested the high ground over there to take Widow off of it? Since they seem to be
Here?
scared about peeking the Widow, so yeah, what if she walked up that way and tried to contest the Widow on height?
Yeah, in theory, this is possible. I only concerned about that this rotation might take long, but in your case, it can be working especially if they don't have Sombra. But okay, I honestly worried about this because they have Cat as well, and this is pretty mobile. A lot of the times when you isolate it like this, it might be difficult. It just if the Cat is not alive, maybe the Sombra is not alive, I would do that. But if they are, you probably need to take kind of softer angles closer to your team because it's just the way you guys can support each other. Maybe if you have Mercy Pocket, sure, I would do that. Probably. It's to your advantage, mid-range sideline, why not? But if not, then at least we're coming up with something like this. Yep. Does it make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, what do you feel like, Akela, as well? Would you try to do this? Actually, would you agree that it's tough because of the divers, or maybe there's anything else? What you would add? Like, is it... Yeah. What do you think?
I do agree that it was really hard with the cat because I did at some points try and kill her, or try and take an off angle, but that I never heard the cat and I was just dead every single time I tried to do it.
Yeah. It's usually pretty
So I had to
tough.
stop.
Yeah, exactly. Cat is just so annoying flying between the angles. You have a lot of damage
Yeah.
with her, and I definitely think unless you play something what can support you on the angle, you don't do that. You don't want to be too isolated. Just this general idea. Whenever you guys have versus more mobile characters, you don't want to be too isolated. You still take angles, yes, but just support each other. Alright, this is interesting. If the Widow comes to you like this, I think, yes, you can contest her because you can support each other. That's gonna be alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this works out. They made a mistake. Alright, this fight goes in our favor, possibly if the Cat is and Sombra also may overextend there, but Well, the enemy team is not even touching the point, which is pretty interesting, but well, that's alright. So see, this is what I mean. Looks so much better. But you tell me, why this is good? Why this wall is good? Why this wall is good?
I like
Everyone's
Tanks on the
looking.
other side of it.
Okay, one at a time, please. It's,
Sorry.
it's so hard. Yeah, so, yeah, who was first? Just anyone. Well, maybe you can start with Kai, sorry, if I'm not pronouncing the name correctly, but yeah, hopefully I do. Yeah.
So tanks on the other side of it, and also it's blocking off that Ana from supplying support.
Okay, true. Alright, anything else?
I said everyone's looking at him. Like everyone has clear sights to just be able to look
Yes.
at him.
Exactly. Everyone can be active now when we put this wall. And it doesn't even have to be that you have to look at the guy who we walled. It can be your own pressure to be done, but it still should be relative to the space where you're fighting. So technically, if we shoot this cat here, this still does the pressure on the Remator directly, arguably, because the cat is playing safe, then that means the Remator cannot play as aggressive too. But all of it is happening once the wall is being put in. Yeah, and before we saw that there have been examples where we'll put the wall, or maybe it doesn't matter if the wall is there, it can be the shield, it can be anything else. Just the wall is a good example of it. But yeah, there's any big cooldown, if it's being used, we just should be on the same page. Yeah, but before, sometimes it's just been a little bit tough for us to do. Well, it's okay though. So see, now we get a lot of value with this wall. We get pretty decent amount of the cooldown straight here. You guys can start taking space. We also get the Sombra, which is quite nice. Alright, let's see how we play afterwards. Or maybe we can start taking a little bit more space accordingly to the tempo. You have 2 more picks, so I usually suggest, in this case, it can be okay to play for this choke. Yeah, have a plan around it here, because we walled off this space. Now we got a lot of value. Let's play for this. And at the same time, it's also Ash Dynamite. Yeah, where you would like the enemy to be more, in those clumped up spaces or in the spaces where they can spread out more, right? Would you like the enemy team to be here for the Dynamite potentially? Yeah, potentially, yeah. So
Because they're all grouped.
that is something what it can communicate as well, yeah, because you may have a game leader, you may have a captain who may tell you, okay, this is what we can do, but everybody should influence the plan, ideally. And if you can say, all right, I have my Dynamite, and let's, guys, can we try to hold the choke? I can look for it, okay? Once we said that, and everybody heard the plan, then we should be adjusting with the way we're gonna play. And in this case, if we're playing for this choke, let's start with where everybody should be. Right, let's start with the Sig, Mei, where you guys should be. Where those guys should be. What do you think?
Probably should have been up a little bit farther because we were playing pretty far back, even though we got a lot of value off that wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, just continue.
Full screen.
Probably need
May
to just
probably could have been up.
yeah.
Oh,
May
sorry.
definitely
Go
needed to.
ahead.
May probably could play up in play like on the left side, kind of play around the
Yep.
wall at choke and play up with tank a little bit more, especially because if we go back just like a little bit, there was like at least a couple like 5-ish seconds there to where after we won the team fight, yeah, about right here, where we just kind of
Yeah.
we left them behind payload. They don't even have it in choke, like really much in choke yet, and we decided to kind of play way too far back here. I'm thinking more like after we get those picks, we kind of stabilize for a second, and we're all like together. Maybe start walking up and start playing like more towards like where actual choke is, and kind of play on that left side. Maybe have like May plays on the left side, maybe plays inside his right room because she has
Yeah.
pack in there. She could have sight line in there. Just play more forward than
Yeah.
playing so far back.
Exactly. You usually need to come up just anyone, guys, once you know what the plan is, let's look for the wall in the choke, or let's look for the dynamite in the choke. Just 2 questions. What angle and what range I'm gonna be playing? The Mei is gonna be more a short to medium range sidelines. The Sigma is gonna be more mid-range sidelines. Ash, mid-range to long-range sidelines. So in theory, this position where you are is okay-ish. Yeah, maybe you can also later on position on this high ground A, and then so this is gonna be either this. Let's call this Mei angle, and this is gonna be Mei angle. Sigma can be somewhere more forward, but typically it's okay if I play around the main side here. Just make sure that you take cover, and then depending on how the enemy is going, yeah, backwards or more forward, you keep your distance. You just need to play effective range. Yeah, Sigma's effective range is medium. Okay, Moira, on the other hand, should be playing which angle? What do you guys think?
She could play in small room.
Yeah, she can
Or
play
health
there.
pack is.
Yeah, potentially. Maybe staying with the Mei there. So let's also say this is plus Moira here. Or maybe over there. This can also work. Oh, of course, you have to be aware of this eventually, but yeah, possibly. And Baptiste can play around the Ash, maybe, because of the mid-range sidelines. And see, all of it is done because we know where the fight is and we know what range we're comfortable with on the character, yeah? What kind of angle we can be taking as well. Can we flank? Should we play closer to our team? That's what you need to come up with. Yeah, like that question about the Ash, yeah? Should it be ever flanking this way against their comp? Well, probably the answer is no, because they have dives. So it's just all about the knowledge. What angle I would be playing, okay? And the angles is all about, do I play closer to my team, or do we go deeper on the angle? All right. Does all of it make sense? Or any questions?
That all makes sense to me.
Okay. Yeah, let's watch more fights. We have some ultimates coming up, so yeah, maybe we can see what kind of plan we can make with those. All right, so this is when the fight starts, and you started with the window. All right, do you guys remember, did you have any specific plan with ultimates in this case, and during this fight?
At least I don't think so.
I called to make the Sigma ult this fight.
Mhm.
But I don't even remember if I did it or not.
Yeah, but the call. Oh well, that's okay. We can kind of plan here. Yeah, let's because there are multiple plans we can be thinking about. Yeah, and we can try to also combine our knowledge about the abilities. So, what you would say could be okay plan to start with? What do you guys think? Because we have this Sigma, we have the Mei ultimate, maybe Baptiste window. What would be okay plan? What do you think?
I think an early flux would be great.
Yeah, because they're all grouped up in that little tunnel
also-
thing.
You could also try and bait out a support ultimate, the support ability, and kind of free up the ability to use maybe some other ults or some like dynamite or May wall. Like just use some abilities instead of having to force ults and force their ults before we can try and use ours.
That's a good plan. Yeah, maybe. Yep. Something to start with. Why not? Okay. Let's try to specify. So we sort of have this red space here. This is going to be the choke. They walking in. That's when the space becomes contested. Yeah, you start shooting them. And then there's also this, let's call it blue space over here, where it's their enemy space at the moment. If anybody walks there, there's more likely chance that you guys gonna die. So it's fine if we just maybe playing for the yellow and for the red space. Now, what space you guys want this team to rotate to before using the flags? Is it okay to use it in yellow here? Would it be better to use it in red? Or, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I don't think it's a terrible idea. Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible idea to play for yellow. You don't want to. We don't want to make them. We either want them to waste an ult to try and come forward, or we bait out an ability for them to try and walk past an ult, or maybe like force something out of them. So playing for yellow is not bad, but you're really just playing to keep them tucked in yellow, because we have May Wall, or I mean May Wall, yeah, but we have like May Ultimate, so that's gonna be good whenever they're all close together. They can't really rotate out. We have
Sure.
Dynamite, that'll be good for when they're all grouped. Like we just kind of want to keep them grouped because a lot of our abilities seem to be really good for like if they're all together so that they can get value. So keeping them in yellow is kind of where we want them to be playing in.
Yeah, sure, this may work. Yeah, if you maybe also trying to wall off the choke like this way, maybe slightly more behind. Yep, this may work. There's a small part about it is the Sigma ultimate and the Mei and the BAP. Yeah, the question is a lot of the times, what is better to start with? Yeah, because there's some ultimates which, let's call those more cheaper ultimates, kind of easier to initiate with ultimates, and some ultimates with the higher amount of value. What you would say is the easiest ultimate to initiate with in your case? Probably. Is it still the Sigma Flux, or what about the other ultimates? It can be even the Ash ultimate there too. What are your thoughts?
Me personally, I think
Mm.
Flux, but I don't know what y'all guys think. What do y'all think?
It's either Flux or May to me, because they're both grouped up ults.
Yeah, if they're gonna be here, I think it can work. Yeah, it can also be viewed this way as if they're gonna be walking through. Yeah, there's maybe another plan you guys can come up with is use the window. Generally speaking, I honestly don't want you to think about it yet too much, because it's more just let's be on the same page. Yeah, let's just come up with a simple plan. And if the plan is simple enough and everybody is gonna be there, then you're gonna be winning. That's fine. Just later on, we can come up with the quality of the plans too. But typically, it might be better to start with the window most of the time because it's kind of cheaper resource. And usually, what you're gonna be doing with that is once they walk in, then they have to rotate either back, and you kind of keep them in here, or you force them rotate to inside the rooms like this, so you guys can push them after with whatever you guys like the Flux or the May Wall, so to speak. So it just a little thing here, but yeah, this idea about let's use the Flux or let's use the May is good. It's just maybe also interesting to see what are the two ultimates we can come up with, so to speak. So it's just one ultimate to initiate, and the second ultimate is going to be the one we're more likely to get a kills. That's how I would put it. So typically, something to initiate with is support ultimates are great most of the time for that. Yeah, maybe it's going to be even Lucio Beat or Kiriko ultimate or the window. And then after that, you can know where you're forcing those guys so you can finish them. Because usually one ultimate, like the May and Sigma, might be not enough, but that's what I'm thinking. Does it make sense? The sort of thought process here? Yeah, okay. Because I know, and this will be confusing sometimes when you start with something, okay, maybe it's not a deal, but, the most important is just be on the same page and make sure that, if you guys are walking, let's say Sigma walks here, all right, I want the mate to already have the great short range off angle here, maybe try to wall, and then maybe you can also come up with a plan like you suggested, even do the Flux first or the May wall, the May ultimate, but yeah, all of it should be planned before the fight even starts. Yeah, so we're starting here, and see there's already a window, and after that we kind of commit the May ultimate. Might be a little bit complicated if we just commit it to this open space, it feels like, but oh well. We're partially still securing the space, which is nice, and then maybe after that we can deal with the Sombra. There's a cat on our back too. Have the Ash ultimate later on too. We should be okay, I believe. Yeah, we should be fine here. Guys will stabilize. Oh well, maybe not. Okay. They also have their they have their well, at the end of the day, if you separate them, should be alright though. Okay, let's see how the next fight plays. Just let's wait for the proper one, because I know there's a lot of chaotic stuffs happening right during the fight, but I feel like once you know what kind of plan you're coming up with, so there's more direction. Like I'm thinking the initial window, initial May wall, initial May freeze is really important and kind of sets you the tempo. I feel like if we have the proper direction, we can be already winning the fight here, and then after that, it will be easier for you guys to also play for the next fights over there. Oh, well, let's maybe see any random. Okay, any random fight. Okay, you guys, yeah, that's when you make some swaps too. All right, we have the Zarya, we have some ultimates coming up too for supports. All right, let's think about the planning here. What do you guys think in this case? What we can start with? What our positioning will be? What's your opinion?
I guess try and go with, I don't know, Cole's the best decision.
All right, let's go with coalescence. Okay, what kind of resources we also may need when we do that, and positional stuff too. Yeah, where everybody will be if we do the coalescence. Let's maybe start with because there are 3 questions you can maybe set your direction with. I usually say that those 3 W's, just what am I doing, what are we doing, and you mentioned that it's gonna be Moira coalescence. It can also be said when you're gonna be doing that and where you will be doing that coalescence, and then after that we can come up with the location where we're starting and what kind of cooldowns we can also synchronize with. So what are your thoughts? Moira coalescence, okay, when and where? What are your thoughts?
Probably wait. Wait till everyone comes out of spawn and they're getting around that little corner, because I think that's where they're about to be at. Unless I saw wrong. And then kind of be off near those boxes, so you're not out in the open, but you're still able to actually get value from that. If that makes any sense.
Okay. So if we have this angle over here, then where everybody should be positioned and how we should approach this fight. I don't know. Maybe we can think that let's just start with everybody. So let's start with the Cassidy first of all. Where you need to be. What is planned to be happening? What are your thoughts?
Isn't there a little tunnel back there that leads to that little window on the left side?
Yeah, there is. We can go over here.
Yeah, me and Groovy probably could have gone there to at least apply some pressure from the sides.
Sounds interesting. Yeah, and it's also gonna be short range angle. Yeah, answering to questions again, because Cassidy is a more short range character, and you can take off angles just not too far away from your core. This can work. Okay, the Cassidy, the Bob can be here. All right. What about your Zarya?
Probably could have played near those boxes, near the mini health or the health pack.
Yeah,
for this one right here.
Like around here. Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
This one mini. Okay. Just stabilizing in this corner. Maybe you will touch the card after. You can also bubble some people on the angle here. Okay. What about the Bastion? Where the Bastion needs to be?
I guess. I don't know. I want to play Bastion.
Think about the nature of the character. Yeah, what the character is more about. What sightlines you like, long or short range oriented, and what angles you like. Closer to your team or more away from your team? What do you think?
My guess is kind of like up there a little bit, but not like the first person up there, not in the front line. Kind of like a medium. So he's not in their faces, but he's not back there.
All right. So where they would start? Is it gonna be okay to start with this area? Maybe. Yeah.
I think the Bastion's okay there because he still has his sightlines there. He has decent decent mid to long range. So he's like
Yeah.
fine to kind of sit there, maybe kind of poke and prod. If Ram throws up shield, he just kind of focuses shield. He doesn't really need to play like insanely far up, but he's kind of
Yeah.
fun kind of playing where he is now. If he was to play anywhere else, maybe play like towards that little middle area where the two doors are, and maybe play in there. Still giving him the sightlines of seeing point, but not necessarily keeping himself open enough to where he can get like a bunch of damage thrown out onto him. Like he can still play his corners and whatnot.
Sure. Okay. Sounds like interesting idea here. And what are your thoughts if we have this angle? We mentioned Cassidy and Bob potentially flanking here.
Mhm.
And what if the Bastion is here? Would that work too?
Yeah.
Or maybe. Yeah. I would say there's just more map detail thing. This sideline, typically, if you guys are playing any sort of longer range characters too, may work a little bit better because a sharper sideline like this, like we said, that the Bastion is more mid-range character, and this gives him enough mid-range, but just so you guys have a little bit more uptime, the sideline is typically better, especially if there's no sniper threat. If they have a Widow, maybe if there's Ashe, then maybe, arguably, walking the left side can be fine if there's a sniper threat, usually. But most of the time, starting rotating to the right side, and then you can come up with all those angles. Maybe the guys over here can, the Cassidy can be there, the Zarya would be over here, the Bastion can sort of play here. I would only make a few changes about the plan. Would probably not send the BAP here, but it can be even your Moira because it's shorter angle, and then you can start with your Coalescence, and the BAP can play longer sidelines like this, but it's my thoughts. Anyway, this still is pretty decent plan. You just starting there, but it's at least not this here where... Oh, well, let's see how the fight goes. Well, the enemy is just mechanically, you guys you're able to catch them. That's great, but I'm thinking this maybe can be better start right away. Yeah, it's a lot of the times when you may win the fight, right? Because some mechanical differences or the enemy is making the mistake. But I'm thinking just starting the fight and figuring out where we need to be regardless is so important, so there's more consistency in how everything is gonna go. All right, let's think about this one. We have the window. Zara is playing over here. All right, what are your thoughts? Starting with the window, well, let's just kind of answer those 3 questions. We're doing the window. When is the best time to do that, and where it should be done too? Is it gonna be the best location for us to put in the window? What do you think?
Probably. I think that window would have been fine if we were like if the Bastion was there. I mean, I could have gotten value as well, but I wouldn't be able to do as much. Like if we had turret farm or something.
The tricky thing is, isn't that would be too much value? If we kind of stay in, let's imagine the Bastion in the turret mode, and then you also stay in here as the Cassidy. I'm thinking these guys will be pretty scared, right? Just let's
yeah.
think about how they will be playing. Yeah, where we zoning them. Yeah, so we may zone them behind this corner here, or may zone them inside the building here. So what that means for you is the Cassidy. Where should it be if the Bastion's playing over here? In theory. What angle makes it easy for you to push the areas where we're trying to zone the enemies to?
Okay.
So what the angle
Just
that would be?
kind of more to the left, probably.
Yeah, this left side looks great at the start. Yeah, you can exactly push this flankers over here, and
Yeah.
after that maybe you can push all the way left side here. That is gonna be great. Okay, and then what about the Zarya? Well, then if we have this plan, then I don't want you to push any forward. Yeah, maybe we want to play over here, and the window, it's just a tiny bit of detail if we'll let the enemy to walk forward. Yeah, thinking about it this way, what space they need to cross, or what kind of line they need to cross if we're making this plan, and everybody should be in place. Yeah, now the window is placed, but who is ready for the window, right? We could be having the Cassidy when the Bastion is our deal plan, but now it will be a little bit tough, right? And so that's why they even may be allowed to walk through the window now, because the Bastion Street mode is over here, and the rest of you guys also on the left side, which is not bad. Yeah, we said the Cassidy angle is fine, but what if we had the Bastion over here? Well, that would be great. But you guys have to say that. Yeah, you have to communicate. That's why, if you can be vocal, just with whatever ability you have, with whatever the ultimate you have, just tell your team, okay, that's what I want to do. Answer 3 questions. What are you doing? When are you doing that? And where? And it'll be relatively easy. And then everybody should be prepared with their positioning. Your plan allows you to know where you will be positioned next. So you position exactly to be able to use your resources correctly. Yeah, use everything correctly. I just want you guys to be on the same page and should be fine. Right. Well, we still have some time left. Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any questions about anything? I know we only 5 minutes, but I hope this idea of how to plan fights, how to not waste the ultimate or be on the same page with the ultimates makes sense. It makes sense more now, but yeah. Is there anything what's not clear?
Not at least not for me. It was all pretty
Yeah,
well
no,
explained.
that helped a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I do kind of.
Mhm.
So this team was pretty much just kind of like walking us down the whole time. Would you have like? Would you think that there was better heroes to pick in this case than the ones that we had at the moment? Because, for example, we changed to Bastion so we could focus the tank when he was pushing us pretty quickly and like break the barrier, whatever we needed to do.
Well, in theory, we could say that there could be better characters, but my opinion as a top founded player in the multiple seasons of Overwatch and also as a coach is that it's better that you guys keep playing your composition you're comfortable with. Just whatever the characters you guys have, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have perfect comp. Matter composition. Yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine that you run whatever the characters you guys like, but just solve the performance and think about how to get value on your character against every matchup. That's all. Just you can be even just be running that one composition, one 2 specific compositions. Doesn't matter. Just come up with something. Okay, let's maybe run this a Reinhardt May composition with, I don't know, Moira, Lucio, whatsoever. And then you run those characters 24/7, and that's it. You just need to figure out the performance. Because this is 95% of the value in the fights. And you figuring out the rest is probably around 5% of value. It's gonna matter more, of course, because you guys playing as a team, but I don't think it matters as much compared to comfort picks. Comfort picks are so much more important. That's why even at tier 2 level, you would see some one-trick teams. They would just play the same composition over and over again. Everybody knows what they play, but guess what? They still get a lot of value. Why? Because they're so good at their characters. They just come up with the certain strategies of how to bait out something, how to play around certain enemy teams stuff. Yeah, the ultimates, the abilities, and then they do really well. Yeah, stuff like that. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, focus on your own planning. That's the 95% of the value here. Because how we could stop this Rematter is exactly if we perform it, yeah? If we have the Bastion over here, then he blasts through this window and he's gonna stop the Rematter while your Cassidy walks on the left side and pushes the rest. These with the flanker, which he is comfortable with because it's a short range, and then after that we can deal with the rest over here. That's about it. That's how I would think about the situation. Oh well, let's say maybe at least 2 or 1 more fight, and it's gonna be different set of characters. But see, this is kind of the thing I want you to actively come up with. Yeah, what compositions we're trying and why? Yeah, is it gonna be because we on the comfort characters, or is it more let's try to counter them doing something, which can be okay strategy. Yeah, you can counter something, but you only need to counter if you already solved your own win condition. So, so to speak, what our win condition will be, yeah, our, let's call it X win condition in this case, and while we perform X, we punish them doing Y, instead of it being let's punish them doing Y, but we don't know what this is. We don't know our win condition. Oh, well, anyway, this let's just think about this composition here. We don't have any ultimates right now, so it will be interesting to see what abilities we should play around and how we should position. So, what do you would say? What are the two strongest offensive things you guys need to play around in your composition? Too sweet. Name me anything.
Hmm.
I would say Nemesis.
Okay, Nemesis form. That's one. What else?
Hmm.
Maybe Baptiste's lamp.
That's not offensive. It's defensive, but
Okay.
yeah, you can play around it, but just to make it easy, let's name any offensive, so you guys can set your own tempo, set your own pressure first.
Okay.
What else can do a lot?
Lucio speed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Lucio
As
speed
well.
boost. Yeah, that's quite big. That's quite big too. So Lucio speed starts, and then maybe you can start walking on somebody. The Cassidy walks, the Matter walks, and then you can also have the Widow angle. That can be looking great. I would say the Widow can be the plan on by itself as well, because you can one-shot anybody. So this can also work. Oh well, anyway. Let's think about it. So now, how our plan will be looking like? Yeah, we're using speed boost. Maybe we're gonna use Nemesis. We also maybe have the Widow shot. Of what space you guys should be playing for, ideally? What do you think? So where we should be locating? Yeah, like what our rotation will be looking like, because there are different rotations we could be taking. Yeah, let's think about that. So maybe there's gonna be rotation 1 here. Maybe there's gonna be rotation 2 over here. Rotation 3. Rotation 4, arguably this way. Maybe you can also take rotation 5, something like this. But yeah, it's maybe a little bit too much. Well, what do you think? What rotation you prefer? Let's start with that.
Always liked when we did 4.
Well,
It allowed us to like.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry.
yeah, I'm just wanted to ask, when you're doing those rotations, you want to make sure that everybody will be able to complement you meanwhile, right? This is really, really important. So when we're doing this, then the Widow shot should be in place, the Lucio speed boost, the Nemesis form should be in place. So this can work, but you have to be really careful, because your Widow is not getting value while you're doing this. Yeah, so once you've done the rotation 4, where should you go next? What space you should be playing for, so your Widow can capitalize on it?
Mm.
Where it's gonna be easier for the Widow to see, where she has sidelines. If she's gonna be at the, so this is gonna be this top position over here. Yeah, this is when where they started.
Mm-hmm.
So what space will be easier for you guys to play for eventually? You see that?
If Widow was to stay there,
Well,
or like, well, Widow could see in your statue, so
okay.
maybe take near statue, because Nemesis will probably play in our face like he did most of the game.
Yeah.
Or, the nemesis for.
Yeah, exactly. So you see, because you know this plan now, then it makes it easy for you to think what kind of resources can support that. Yeah, so maybe we take rotation 4. All right. So what that means for us, maybe we can also do it like I said here. Let's go inside the building here, and then we can do it this way, walking all the way right side. But most importantly, it's really important to mention that what resources you will start with to make the plan work. Yeah, it maybe can be the Lucio speed boost to rotate you. It can also be maybe the shield of the Ramatra to help you out. Can also be some defensive stuff, even the Baptiste lamp. But all of it gets you to the position to make the plan work, and then after that, you will be attacking the space exactly where everybody can be active, yeah, while also avoiding the enemy's aggression. Let's put it this way, yeah. So we always trying to avoid playing for their space, yeah, because if we, let's say, go inside the buildings or like go here instantly, we might receive a little bit too much pressure. But if we're doing it on our own terms, and all of it is because you know where you guys will be playing. Yeah, if we know that we're more confident to play the statue, then I want you guys to rotate there instantly. I don't know, maybe you can walk through here even and use the speed boost before you baited. Once you baited the wall, that can happen. Maybe you can walk here, that's fine. And then the widow can wait, and then we'll play here. Yeah, just make it happen, yeah? Because now it's gonna be a little bit tough if we're gonna be walking, some of the people walking left, and then we also stay in the choke for too long, so we take immense damage from the Ana. Yeah, we also may take the damage from the different angle over here, and yeah, it just the widow does not have time to simply snipe all those people too, if that makes sense. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's just something you guys need to come up with before the fight even starts, I would say. And it should be alright. Okay, well, there's quite a lot we mentioned already. I'm thinking, let's maybe summarize this properly, and then if you have any final questions, let's answer those. But yeah, what do you guys would say? What do you need to work on based on this review so far? What are your main takeaways?
Planning,
yeah.
and like working together. I feel like almost everything you've said has mostly been either planning or positioning on our part. Yeah, I feel like that was what the most thing that I got from it.
All right. Yeah. And specifically, what you guys need to do to make your plan and positioning feel better, yeah, be better. What do you think? Any actionable steps?
Just like whenever we have a plan to like discuss which abilities we're going to use to make that plan happen. Like you had said, like the Lucio speed boost to get over on the high ground on the, I guess now left side, or use the ram shield to block off the little way that they can see us.
That's really good. Yep. So we're gonna be discussing what are resources and the preferences. Of course, if you have ultimates, then you start with ultimates. But if you don't, then at least abilities. Yeah. Ideally, it should be a mix of both. But really, keep it simple for your practice. Maybe start with ultimates simply for your practice right now, and then later on you can start talking about the abilities as well and try to synchronize around those a little bit more. So yeah, discussing what resources we will be using, and then adjust your position after. All right, so that's one thing. Okay, what else? Is there anything else to add?
Personally, those are the main points, at least to me. I guess I only said personally, but just mainly the planning and the positions.
Okay. I would maybe also add, to make it easy for you guys to plan out stuff, everybody can always answer 3 questions. What are you doing? When are you doing that? You know, and where you do that. So this way, when you tell the person, okay, I'm gonna wall, but where do I wall? Yeah, wall the choke, or maybe we also can have the plan of, okay, let's look for a widow shot near the statue. Okay, everyone knows this is the plan in this exact location. How to rotate after, how do we position to be able to contribute to that plan in our favor. Yeah, does everyone need to even play the sideline here to be open to the Anasnate, to the poke damage coming from here? No, not really. Yeah, we can just try to ignore all this, try to go maybe all this way, or maybe try to even rotate with a speed boost to here and play for this side, so our widow constantly gets value. Yeah, it's just small stuff like that. Keep discussing and just answering those questions. What are you doing? And I promise you, if you have the plan for each fight, even though it's simple, you don't have to make it complicated. Just any simple plan, come up with that, and if you're on the same page, there's gonna be a pretty high chance you will win the fight. After that, once you're confident with the planning, if your planning is consistent, you can talk about the quality of the plans. Yeah, like we did it partially with you. Yeah, like for example, we talked about how on that third point, maybe it's better to not send Cassidy on the right side with the Baptiste, but maybe I would have the Baptiste near the Bastion because of the more long range pressure and kind of more synergy together. Yeah, or maybe we could say that the May should be not more on a longer range angle, but short angle, like this room. Yeah, we mentioned, okay, this can work, or this can work. But the important thing is, there's no just easy answer, or not easy, but there's no one answer. Yeah, there are multiple answers, and just make sure all of it is the criteria which you're following. Yeah, like we said about the positioning. What angle we're taking? Is it gonna be closer to our team, or maybe more away from your team? And what kind of range you're gonna be playing? Is it gonna be long range or short range fight? That's about it. That's how I would put it. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions about anything? Maybe anything what's been not clear, or maybe you guys.
I do not have any.
Okay.
I don't know about anyone else.
I don't have any too much either. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
fine.
good.
All right, that's fine. Perfect. Yeah, if you're gonna have any questions later, feel free to message me whenever. Maybe if there's something what you guys want me to look at, your own words, just maybe some specifics you guys want me to look at, just your games overall as a team too. Feel free to send me any questions and should be good. All right. I will see. Yeah, all right. I will see everyone later then, and good luck in the games. Yeah, just start working on your planning and positioning together, and it will be easier. Yeah, ult usage too, obviously. Should be good. All right. I think that's it for today then. I will. Yeah. Bye bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.